The press briefing room was buzzing with anticipation. Reporters packed tightly into their seats, cameras flashing, notebooks open, waiting for the moment they could pounce. The atmosphere was thick with tension. Everyone knew something big was about to happen. Donald Trump strode onto the stage with his usual confidence, adjusting the microphone. He took a moment to scan the room, letting the weight of his presence settle in. Then, with a casual smirk, he leaned in and spoke. "All right, folks, let's get this started." His voice carried a mix of authority and amusement. Reporters wasted no time. The questions flew fast and sharp, but Trump handled them as he always did. With certainty, with control. Then, the moment everyone had been waiting for arrived. A reporter from a well-known network, one with a reputation for provoking confrontations, cleared his throat and took the mic. His expression was a mix of smugness and determination. "Mr. Trump," he started, voice loud, cutting through the room like a knife. "Many believe your rhetoric has been divisive. Some say you are responsible for creating a deeper divide in this country. Do you take responsibility for that?" A ripple of murmurs spread through the press corps. Cameras zoomed in. This wasn't just a question. It was a loaded attack. Trump didn't flinch. Instead, he tilted his head slightly, studying the reporter like a lion sizing up prey. He let a beat of silence stretch just long enough to make everyone in the room uncomfortable. Then he responded. "You know," he said, his voice calm but firm, "that's a very interesting question. And I love how you phrased it. Many believe. That's one of the oldest tricks in the book. You're not saying it. You're hiding behind many people so you don't have to take responsibility for your own bias." The room went dead silent. A few reporters exchanged glances. The reporter who had asked the question visibly stiffened. Trump wasn't done. "The media has been obsessed with this narrative, this idea that everything I say somehow controls people's minds. Give Americans some credit. They think for themselves. They don't need reporters twisting things for them." The reporter shifted in his seat, clearly caught off guard. He opened his mouth as if to respond, but Trump was already moving in for the kill. "Divisive? Let's talk about divisive," Trump continued, leaning forward slightly. "You sit here in this very room day after day, looking for ways to twist words, create stories, and push a narrative. When I say something, you don't report what I say, you report what you want people to think I said. And then you call me divisive?" A low murmur spread through the room. Some reporters looked down at their notes. Others hesitated, unsure how to react. The reporter who had asked the question was now visibly uncomfortable, shifting in his seat. Trump smirked, sensing the shift. He leaned back slightly and delivered the final blow. "I'll tell you what's divisive. The constant need to push a story instead of the truth. The people in this country, they see it. And that's why they don't trust you anymore." Boom. The silence was deafening. The reporter's face went pale. His confidence shattered. He looked down at his notes, searching for a comeback, but there was none. Then came the unexpected. A few claps started in the back of the room. Soft at first, hesitant. Then, more. And then, a full round of applause. Not from the entire press corps, of course, but enough. Enough to show that some people in that room recognized the truth in Trump's words. The reporter sat down, his question backfiring spectacularly. But another journalist, eager to reclaim control, quickly stood up, microphone in hand, ready to fire another shot. "Mr. Trump, let's address the elephant in the room. Many have questioned your marriage. Do you regret marrying Melania Trump?" A collective gasp rippled through the crowd. Even some of the more aggressive reporters looked surprised. That was personal. That was bold. Trump's expression didn't change. He just chuckled. And then, in classic Trump fashion, he responded, "Regret? Regret is for people who don't take responsibility for their choices." The journalist blinked, caught off guard. Trump continued, voice measured and firm. "I married Melania because I love her. Because she's strong, intelligent, and more dignified than half the people in this room. And let me tell you something. If you think I regret that, you really don't understand me at all." Some reporters exchanged glances, clearly surprised by the sincerity in his tone. But the journalist tried again. "Well, there have been rumors." Trump cut him off. "Rumors are just that. Rumors. And you know where they come from? The same people who sit in rooms like this, who can't get a real story so they create one. But you know what? My marriage isn't the story here. The fact that you'd rather talk about my wife than real issues? That's the story. The room fell into a stunned silence. The journalist lowered his mic, completely outmaneuvered. Trump looked around. All right, who's got a real question? Another reporter cautiously raised a hand. Mr. Trump, you often speak about the media's bias. What do you think needs to change? Trump nodded, as if finally hearing something worth answering. Well, that's easy. The media needs to go back to what it used to be. Reporting facts, not opinions disguised as facts. Right now, you're not journalists, you're activists. People don't want a lecture, they want the truth. But you can't give them the truth if you're too busy trying to push an agenda. The words hit like a hammer. Some reporters shifted in their seats. Others were frantically taking notes. The once aggressive press corps was now strangely quiet. Because Trump hadn't just answered their questions, he had exposed the entire game. And then, just like that, he leaned back from the podium. All right, folks. That's all the time I have. You can go twist this however you want, I'm sure you will. But the American people? They saw what happened here today, and that's all that matters. With that, he turned and walked off the stage, leaving the press room stunned, silent, and completely outplayed. Within minutes, clips of the moment spread across social media like wildfire. Trump destroys reporter live. Media bias exposed on national television. Say what you want, but he knows how to handle the press. The exchange dominated headlines, not because it was controversial, but because it was undeniable. Even some critics had to admit, the response was brilliant. Some networks tried to spin the story, arguing that Trump had attacked the press. But the raw, unedited clips told a different story. This wasn't about politics. This was about a leader shutting down a loaded question with nothing but confidence and facts. And the people? They saw it. They shared it. They talked about it. Because in that moment, Donald Trump reminded the world why he was one of the most unshakable figures in modern history.